Yeah. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. What's going on, folks? It's your boy D.Alonzo Lang coming back to y'all for another episode of Friendly Folks Podcast. You know what I'm saying? So check it out, man. You heard that? That sounded a little bit like a smack, right? That was just a little slight smack, little slight smack of my hand against my other hand. You know what I mean? That's not the smack that we here to talk about today. We here to talk about the smack heard all around the world. Will Smith versus Chris Rock, man. This was something insane to see. I don't think anybody could have seen this coming for the Oscars. You know what I mean? This was an insane turn of events. Seeing Will Smith go up on stage and just smack the black out of Chris Rock. Like, just full 5-finger, perfect form. Bam! Like, violence. Violated that man. It was really something, man. It was really something, man. Honestly, people have been talking about it since it's happened. It's Friday, April 1st when I'm recording this. Happy April Fool's Day to all you fools out there, you know what I mean? But we not fooling around with this. This is real serious, you know what I mean? It's serious, but I feel like it's kind of being blown out of proportion too, and I'll get into all of that as we get later into the podcast. You know what I mean? First and foremost, I want to thank y'all for coming out for another episode, another video, coming straight to your Spotify and your YouTube feed. Make sure you've subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, leave a like, 5 stars, comment, all that. Make sure you follow on the gram, follow on all the social media platforms, send me a DM, comment. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way I can interact with you, get to know y'all thoughts as well on the incident. Because everybody's been speaking up on this, man. Like, white people have been speaking up, black people have been speaking up. Just like all these different spaces in Hollywood and all these different faces, like, it's just, everybody has something to say. You know what I mean? And like, it's the fucking Oscars, man. Like, my generation, we don't really care that much about the Oscars because fuck the Oscars. But, the older generation, the TV generation, they do. You know what I mean? I'm going to get more into that too later into the video as well. But, it just goes to show why everyone's talking about it. Like, yo, my grandma called me to talk about this shit. Because she was just, like, appalled by what Will Smith had did. Even my mom called me to talk about the shit because she was just appalled. And neither one of them are on Twitter. Neither one of them are on social media. Like, but it's all over the place, man. It's all over the internet. It's on Twitter, it's on YouTube, it's on Reddit, it's on Instagram, it's on Snapchat, and it's probably on MySpace. MySpace niggas, let me know if this is going viral on MySpace too. Send us some MySpace memes. I don't know what the MySpace memes are looking like nowadays, but I bet they probably busting if MySpace is still going around, because probably need some funny niggas to keep that shit active at this point. You know what I'm saying? But look, check it out, man. This is what we doing for today. 3, 2, 1. Bow, I did that right. Yes. Got the video right here to react to, you know what I'm saying? Prayerfully it's not copyrighted, you know what I mean? But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, if that is the bridge. But look, man, we can do like a little play-by-play, right? Because this video is only a minute long. It's the uncensored clip. But this minute is it's so many moments to break down in here, right? And I figured the best way for me to, keep my thoughts organized and, keep y'all in tune to everything I'm addressing was to, give y'all a little play-by-play action, you know what I mean? So let me go ahead and vote, you know what I'm saying? And let's get into this, man.
Javier Bardem's job tonight. Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please.
Okay, so let's get into the context, right? Chris Rock, not his first time hosting for the Oscars. You know what I mean? He's one of the super big black comedian, you know what I mean? He's the voice of Marty from Madagascar. Everybody knows who Marty is, you know what I mean? Like, everybody hates Chris. It's about his life. You know what I mean? Well, it was loosely based off his life. He was only in the show for like one episode as a guidance counselor, but like it was him. It was him. It was based off of him, right? So, Chris Rock, this isn't his first time hosting the Oscars. And, with him being in this position, for another time when there's already a lot of criticism from the Oscars for being very white, like a very white dominated space. You know, I think there is some dialogue to be had about that, right? But here's my thing too, is that I gotta hurry up and drink that water so I have some of the ash. I clicked record when I grabbed my ashtray. Make sure y'all stay hydrated though. But the thing is, so Chris Rock, in him hosting the Oscars, you know, this is what I was talking about a couple minutes ago when I was saying that their generation cares more. Like Chris Rock, Will Smith, Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel Washington, like we are giving, our generation is giving less of a fuck about the Oscars because we're young. Like this stuff means a lot less to us. We create our own spaces with the internet. You know what I mean? We have our own ways of, you know, highlighting our creators and our creatives. You know what I mean? Like we create our own award shows at this point. For their generation, this was like the pinnacle. This was that. Like this was the start for that. Like this is how we got to build our dreams because they kept getting rejected from those spaces or, you know, barely accepted into those spaces, you know, so that gave us the push we needed to do more for our shit, you know, our generation. But Chris Rock and them generation, Will Smith and them generation, I can see why the Oscars still mean a lot to them, right? So that's just some background context with this. You know, some people might be a little upset with Chris Rock for accepting this. I feel like niggas probably would have been saying the same thing if they let Kevin Hart, you know, continue to host. But, you know, the controversy with his jokes and all that shit went down. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, you know what I mean? It's a valid point of dialogue. Just needs to be in proper context. You know what I mean? Like, you know, keep everybody's perspective into perspective. You know what I'm saying? So now let's get into some more of the controversy.
Lord! Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Okay. Right here. This is where things get spicy. Shit gets hot right here. That's why I had to light the blunt up. You know what I'm saying? Cause we see two different reactions here. Right? The Fresh Prince, he's laughing. He chuckling. You see that smile, nigga? You can tell that nigga, he brushed his teeth before they came to this award show. His wife, not so much. Not so much. Now look, it's a lot of discussion being had right now about the joke that Chris Rock told. The joke was, as y'all just heard, Jada, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. Because currently Jada Pinkett Smith, as you can see, you know, she has a smooth haircut, right? And she looks good. She looks good. But the accusations towards Rock here is that, you know, his joke is anti-black, right? It was a bad joke. Look, was the joke in bad taste? Kinda, you know what I mean? Like, it was, he did kind of just go at Jada out of nowhere. It was, but it was a little bit less out of nowhere because you can see it was like a transitionary joke from Will to Jada. You know what I mean? But this isn't Chris Rock's first time telling jokes about Will and Jada on stage at the Oscars. I think this is their first time being in attendance for it, but, you know, it's okay not to laugh at the joke at yourself. At a joke for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, me personally, I try to laugh at jokes on me because, you know, it helps me stay lighthearted, you know what I mean? It helps me, you know, crack a joke on myself, help me crack a joke towards others. But, you know, if you're dealing with an illness like Jada Pinkett's dealing with alopecia, so she has bald spots in her hair, right? You know, which ultimately led to her making a decision to just go with the fade. And she looks good with the fade. However, it's very understandable why jokes in this nature might be sensitive towards her. And that's unfortunately just the nature of comedy. You know what I mean? Like, comedy has always existed on that edge of offense and humor. You know, because, you know, you look at the greatest comics in history, we're renowned for their ability to take some tragic moments and find humor in them. You know what I mean? That's like that's part of why white people try to emulate black culture. You know what I mean? Because they see how black people we part of how we cope with all this systemic trauma is we make a joke about it. Like we're funny ass niggas. You know what I mean? We're humorous. We continue to make music. We continue to live life. We continue to create for the culture. You know what I'm saying? So it's in a similar regard, right? But again, you can't tell people not to take offense to it. And you know, I see where people coming from saying that Chris Rock is kind of a hypocrite because he did just do some shit. Like he just here for a documentary he produced about black hair. You know what I mean? Like, of all the jokes to make about somebody being bald headed and looking like G.I. Jane, you chose the black woman in the audience. So, you know, I get that side of things. And there's already that dialogue around, you know, you even taking this job to host. You know what I mean? You got the power of the mic, you feel me, to be putting the spotlight on anybody. You know what I mean? But that's the nature of comedy. Like, I don't think it was ill-intended. You know what I mean? But at that, the intent is all shit to speculate because we don't know what chemistry the Smiths and the Rocks have outside of this. You know what I mean? This is all celebrity bullshit at the end of the day. We don't know what fucking lives these niggas live on their fucking day-to-day. We only know the shit that we see on cameras for entertainment, right? And the shit do be entertaining sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. This was an entertaining moment, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time too, because you know we gotta see all perspectives here. I can merch your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your friends at school, your enemies at school, your neutral parties at school. All y'all at one point in your life have called somebody a bald-headed scallywag. Like, there was never a point in my childhood or my adolescent life, or even now as a young adult, where certain jokes get taken off the table just because, like, nigga, everything is fair game. That's like the unfortunate nature of the beast. We're roasting, and roasting is a part of comedy, but roasting in particular, that form of humor, like, it's to, you know, find humor in something about you, some of your personal traits, some of your individual traits. You know what I mean? So, like, alopecia being the bar that we just stop, like, that's crazy to me. Like, y'all still, it be the same motherfuckers who been making fat jokes, who be calling other women ugly, calling niggas bogus for having receding hairlines and shit, making jokes about all these other factors that people can't control. But alopecia is where we draw the line? Alopecia? Like, look, I'm not trying to undercut what Jada Pinkett is going through at all, but, like, y'all are the same niggas who be making fun of eczema. You know, I forgot about that? All you niggas who quote Divine, you got eczema? So is eczema off the table now? We gotta be consistent with all this shit, man, because, like, it's valid. It's valid. Like, look at her face, man. Look at Jada Pinkett's face. She's valid for feeling disgust in this manner. Like, don't nobody want the spotlight on them when they dealing with a whole bunch of personal shit. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of what you trade with being a public figure. If you an actor, if you an entertainer, if you a comedian, you trade that. You trade a lot of your privacy and being able to keep a lot of that shit under wraps. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even with that being traded away, we shouldn't trade away our empathy. But with having empathy, we should still be able to laugh at jokes. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm making points here. I think that's most of what I wanted to cover with the joke. Yeah, you know. So let's look at things a little bit now from the Fresh Prince's perspective.
That was a nice one. Okay.
See, you can even see right there. Chris Rock didn't. Like, he thought it was gonna go over lightly. Like, it's a lot that can be joked about with the Smith family, right? But, like, he was just being, that was, in his mind, that was a lighthearted jab.
I'm out here. Richard.
Now look. Let's talk about this. There is no situation where Will Smith comes out of this as the winner, right? Because if he just stays in his seat, with all the jokes that motherfuckers have been making about the Smith family lately and, him and Jada's marriage, this is prime, material for motherfuckers to, get on their ass and, really just make him the butt of the joke again for the next month on social media. And motherfuckers been making jokes about this August Alsina shit since it became, mainstream aware. You know what I mean? Because Jada Pinkett been fucking August Alsina since, 2017. Google it. You'll find the blog reports. This has been going, that was a known thing within Hollywood and the industry. She was fucking August for a while, right? But that's besides the point. I'm gonna get to that later, right? Motherfuckers been making jokes about the Smiths, and I feel like everybody on Twitter who's just been coming out the woodworks, champion Will Smith, championing him as the pinnacle of black men, and this is what I want my man to do for me, and setting him as the bar. These would have been the same motherfuckers coming out the woodworks saying that he was weak for not doing this, not doing the most to defend Jada Pinkett. You know what I mean? Because, let's make this clear. Men should be defending their wives. Wives should be defending their husbands. It's a relationship. It's a partnership. Y'all are a unit at that point. But this wasn't the manner of defense that I think, Will would have even wanted to have for himself. You know what I mean? I don't think it's what Chris Rock said in particular that blew his top, but I think Chris Rock is the straw that broke the camel's back here. Because if you think about it, all the fucking jokes the motherfuckers been making, that shit is stressful as hell. Will Smith has been doing a lot of press runs talking about his mental health. And you niggas need to lay off, man. Bro, everybody been on bullshit with the Fresh Prince over some shit. Look, we gonna talk more about the open marriage deep into the episode, but look, man, if they agree to have an open relationship, that's on them. That's not on us to say whether it's right or wrong. It's some shit about that is, in my opinion, objectively wrong. But, that's my opinion. Objectively is, of course, in the strength of my perspective. But I think I have a pretty strong case here as to why, certain shit is wrong. And I'll get to that. But this right here, let's focus on what's wrong with this. People are still making jokes about Will Smith, and people are trying to, interpret the intent of his actions and, trying to, make him a hero versus just a bunch of white motherfuckers trying to make him a villain. This is a man who's going through it, man, mentally. You know what I mean? He's opened up about depression and anxiety and, sexual anxiety and social anxiety and shit, man. Dude has gone through a lot of shit, man. A lot. You know what I mean? And he still, upholds his image to the public very well. He still upholds, the calm Negro. You know what I'm saying? The clean, calm Negro. Look at this nigga in the suit. Look at how he's walking up, bro. He looks professional as hell. You know what I'm saying? So it's in choosing this response, he even Will knows it's not how he wanted to respond. You know what I mean? Even he acknowledged that this isn't the choice he wanted to make because he apologized. You know what I mean? Because it's responding like this, it's one thing to, catch Chris Rock backstage and hey, don't do that shit. Even in your chair, yelling, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth, nigga. Interrupting the fucking monologue like that. But walking up on stage and smacking him, that shit is just so dramatic and so irrational. No nigga is getting away with that. Only Will Smith could get away with that shit. This was any other nigga, they would have tackled his ass before he even got up on stage. No one saw that coming. You know what I'm saying? And you think Will Smith would have did this if this was fucking Terry Crews on stage? This was Terry Crews who made a joke on Jada Pinkett. You think he still would have gone on stage and smacked the shit out, dude? My answer is maybe. I can't just sit up here and say no because who would have thought he would have went up there and smacked Chris Rock? Like, he niggas acting off emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was an irrational, emotional decision. You know what I mean? But the pressure that he's on, one, with the public eye, two, with his actual marriage, and, you know, we've seen how vulnerable this nigga is. Like, bruh, we know that shit. This meant a lot to him. This moment meant a lot to him. Right? But okay. Let's get to the impact. Boom! Now, okay, what we have here, what we just saw, was a very coordinated, five-finger, fully pointed, fully extended smack. Like, this was a open palm, let me get your life together, G. Smack. Like, this was a, let me reorientate you to reality. Smack. Look at how this nigga is standing after he rocked his ass. Now, look, that was a solid smack. It was an audible smack. But we gotta give Chris Rock his credit here. He took it like a champ. He took it like a champ. He was just like, oh, wow. Like, he just drank a fucking Red Bull or something. You know, just bring you back to reality, famo. You know what I mean? And look, it's a lot. That moment is like burnt into social media right now and everybody's head and shit, like the actual smack itself. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that the smack sent us back 100 years. Look, man, fuck what white people have to say about this for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, let's just make this a black thing. Because my generation, we don't give a fuck about the Oscars. We don't give a fuck about the Oscars. The dialogue on Twitter lets you know that we don't give a fuck about the Oscars. Like, nigga, if I had $1 for everybody under the age of 27 who said, nigga, fuck the Oscars, Will Smith should have smacked him, I could probably pay off somebody's student loans. But I don't have $1 for everybody who said that, unfortunately. However, I do have a point to make here. Point being is that this isn't a race thing. Like, this isn't a looking bad in front of white people thing. In the sense that people are making it. Like, getting sent back 100 years, like, nigga, black people and white, we damn near been in the same position for the last 100 years already. Only difference is that we had this shit on camera now. Like, the laws are still made against us. It's still systemic oppression. Like, it's still a whole lot of shit that, you know, put in place to keep black people down. That's not to make excuses for niggas. There's a lot of pathways to get around it now. And, you know, we have lights to illuminate more pathways. But even with all these new pathways that open up, it's more pitfalls that open up too. So it's like, yeah, give and take, nigga. And it's like, for this, let's take out white America's opinion. Right? But in taking that out, let's also be real about, you know, being niggas in America. Not just being niggas, but being marginalized people, being a minority. Being a minority in America means that if you're not white America, you are the representative of your minority. As a white person, you can wild out and you don't represent America as a whole. As a nigga, if you wild out, you represent all of nigga kind. The Asians know that it goes the same for them. The Mexicans know it goes the same for them. Like, that's just what it is to be a minority. Even for the LGBTQ community. Like, everyone gets labeled the same way. Right? Which is that's just the unfortunate reality of being a minority in America. You know, we have a sense of dual identity in that regard. I told y'all stay hydrated. Keep 2 bottles of water on you. But, you know, my point with that being that with that dual identity, okay, let's take out this whole, send us back 100 years narrative. Let's focus on what this just means for the black community. This is a white space. This is a white space that means a lot to y'all generation, and y'all mean a lot to us because, y'all are the older niggas. Will Smith, everybody loves Will Smith. Everybody hates Chris, but nigga, that's just the show. Like, everybody loves Marty. Like, nigga, we love Chris Rock. I love Chris Rock. My family fucks with Chris Rock. You know what I mean? Like, we fuck with his comedy specials. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, these aren't hated individuals. Like, these are public black figures. There's no denying that this means something within our culture. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't a good look for us, man. Like, we can't be embarrassing us in front of motherfuckers who ain't us. Like, it's one thing we joke on each other a lot because we cope with humor. You know what I mean? We've developed a beautiful sense of humor. We have that ability to just, be able to laugh at a lot of things, a lot of, personal traits about ourselves and, other things going on with our culture. White people take that shit seriously. Like, Amy Schumer is on Twitter, is on fucking Instagram talking about she's traumatized by what just happened. Like, shut the fuck up, Amy. Shut up, Amy. Nobody asked Amy Schumer what her fucking opinion was. I didn't even know who Amy Schumer was anymore. Like, she's the most irrelevant white comedian out right now. Like, shut the fuck up, Amy Schumer. You were not traumatized by this. This isn't about you. You're not Chris Rock. You didn't just get rocked by Will Smith. Like, shut up, nigga. Shut up, bro. Like, everybody would add in their fucking 2 cents unnecessarily. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, hey, I guess you could say that about me. I'm a podcaster. I'm commenting. This is my 2 cents. But, like, niggas are adding their 2 cents talking about this affected them dearly. No, it did not. You are not Will Smith. You don't know the amount of emotion that was going through his body. You don't know the strain that his relationship has on it. You don't know if there's any strain on his relationship. We don't know this nigga. We don't know Chris Rock. Chris Rock was on stage the other day. Motherfuckers was asking him how he felt. He said he's still processing. Right now, Chris Rock, he been going on a meteor run prior to all this for his comedy tour, right? And he's been mentioning that since the pandemic started, he's been going to therapy 4 times a week. You know what I mean? 4 times a week. Some of you motherfuckers don't even go to therapy once a week. Y'all won't even make the time for that. This nigga goes 4 times a week because he's unpacking so much trauma and so much undealt with shit. You know what I mean? So, like, what do you mean you're traumatized, Amy Schumer? Like, no, you're not. No, you are not. You are a witness. You are not a victim. You are not the victim here. Like, that is ridiculous, man. That shit is insane, bro. Because it's like, yeah, them doing all this, making it about them, their trauma, it's taken away from the fact that there are a lot of black people here to celebrate a lot of amazing things, like black people taking ownership in predominantly white dominated spaces, like Samuel L. Jackson getting awards. Will Smith, right after this, went to accept an award for his last movie. That's why Chris called him Richard while he was walking up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was a lot of positive shit going on too. It wasn't just all of this. Like, it wasn't just all this drama. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. But it's just, it became that. It spiraled into that because there's a lot of behind the scenes shit that we don't understand. You know what I mean? A lot of this shit. And it's like, everybody who's kind of fetishizing this and making this relationship goes, are y'all fucking delusional? Like, are y'all out y'all fucking mind? Do y'all think this shit is really a TV show? Y'all think that that everybody's Will Smith? You think your nigga is Will Smith? If y'all don't even get bucked with y'all manager when y'all manager be disrespecting y'all cubicle. But you want your nigga to smack every nigga who might just make a joke on you? Like, yo, all right, let me give you a scenario. Right? Let's say you want a nigga like that. Just smacks everybody. Smacks everybody who disrespects you. Just off your command, right? Because that's how niggas supposed to ride, right? Okay. The nigga does that. Nigga, he smacks press charges. Your boyfriend goes to jail. You staying loyal or you going to fuck Jody? You gonna make them calls to Snoop behind Jody back? Or you gonna stay loyal to Jody? Like, y'all are not no fucking ride or die ass individuals. Like, y'all would leave a nigga at the drop of a dime if his ass went to jail. And wouldn't nobody blame you? Cause what the nigga going to jail for smacking a nigga just cause he said some shit is childish. Like, that's fucking elementary school shit. Like, sometimes you do just have to smack a nigga. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes, like, shit does get to that point where it's like, you need to get smacked. But those are extreme situations. Like, we live in a society where as black men, we get persecuted at a higher rate. Black women get persecuted black women get persecuted at a higher rate. I'm keeping that stutter in there because y'all know I be keeping it real. But if this was just 3 niggas on the street and the police came, they shooting first, they asking questions later. Everybody getting thrown on the ground, including Shorty. So, you know, let's not fetishize this. Let's not try to make this into something beautiful. Let's not turn this into relationship goals. Let's keep it real and let's keep it empathetic. Let's make our jokes. Don't get me wrong, because this is funny as hell. I'd be lying if I said I'm not laughing at every single meme. But it's only a joke if we stop laughing at some point. You know? Otherwise, we're just fucking insane. You just laughing to laugh. But look, let's keep going. Because a little more shit I want to talk about.
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Okay. And that's when everybody realized how real this was. And now that Will Smith is talking about his wife, let's get into Jada. All right, let's go back to Namek for this one. Welcome back. Jada Pinkett. We have to hold her accountable for how much negativity she brings onto Will Smith's name. Just in general. Like, Jada Pinkett is very open about their relationship and the ups and the downs, and Will Smith is constantly putting her on a pedestal in the public eye, but Jada Pinkett is never doing that in the same regard. Like, when Jada Pinkett had gone up on stage and smacked fucking Lupita Nyong'o, if she said that shit, or Tracy Ellie Ross, if she said that, if she made a joke about Will Smith, no. Would she have yelled from her seat, "Keep my husband's name out your fucking mouth"? No. You know what I mean? But she always has something to say about Will Smith not getting it done in the bedroom. Always has something to say about Will Smith and her not having the same love that she had for Tupac Shakur, R.I.P. the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? But, like, she even has Willow Smith writing letters to Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's constantly this comparison being made in the public eye that when she's saying that she's not fully happy with her marriage with Will Smith. You know? And that's kind of, from an outsider's place, like, that's kind of sad to hear. You know what I mean? Like, it's their relationship, so it's not our place to judge. But, like, me personally, I wouldn't want to be in a marriage with somebody who said that this relationship wasn't making them the happiest. Like, they had happier relationships. Because what the fuck are we still doing this for? You know what I mean? Like, look, open relationships, personally, I believe they can work, but only if both parties are equally yoked towards each other. Both parties got to be equally devoted towards defending and upholding the other person's honor and integrity in that relationship. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, open relationships come up when one person suggests it to the other because they feel like they're not getting their needs met. You know what I mean? And the other person is placed into put into a position of discomfort, and it becomes an ultimatum of losing their partner, who they still have this connection to, or, you know, keeping them at the sake of appeasing them. You know what I mean? But we can't assume what their relationship is, or will be. You know what I mean? Because we don't know what Will and Jada have communicated between each other, right? We know that they've both came out and said that they have an open relationship, so that's not the issue. That's not the issue. Someone fucking Jada Pinkett isn't the issue. Someone fucking Will Smith isn't the issue. However, let's bring it back up. There is an issue with Jada Pinkett Smith fucking August Alsina. Because, and before y'all get mad, hear me out. August Alsina was friends with her son, Jaden Smith. Similar age ranges. August Alsina takes care of his deceased sister's children. August Alsina developed a critical autoimmune disease where, you know, took a huge toll on his music career. Like, the reason August Alsina just up and disappeared for a minute was because of his health. While he was dealing with his health, he was living with the Smith family. That difference in age, and him being in that state of vulnerability regarding his health, those aren't good conditions to start any type of intimate relationship with, especially if it's your son's friend, like someone who y'all said is like a family friend to y'all. Like, that's grooming. That's grooming, and that's the type of grooming that we only let slide with Hollywood shit. Like, you wouldn't let that shit slide with your child. All the mothers out there, would you do that? Would you do that? Would you sleep with one of your son's friends? One of your children's friends? Fathers, would you fuck one of your daughter's friends? You weird ass niggas. Y'all better not. Y'all better be like, nah. Ooh, you weird ass. We gonna keep it pushing, but I hope y'all said no. I wouldn't touch my daughter's friends. Anyways, that shit isn't right, man. Like, that shit is grooming. That shit is predatory in nature. You know what I mean? And you can't. How mad can you be at August Alsina for feeling real feelings with all these other things going on? Like, how mad can you really be at him for catching feelings for Jada Pinkett in that situation? You know what I mean? Like, she's playing nurse, she's taking care of him, she's fucking him. Like, she's literally, like, doing everything for him, like, trying to bring this nigga back to life. You know what I mean? Like, that's some sweet shit. That's some fantasy shit. Like, this nigga literally grew up on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and now he's fucking the Fresh Prince's wife. Like, nigga, that is a fucking dream. So it's just like, damn, man, like, that's objectively speaking, in my opinion, that's all of that pouring into the public eye, and the way they handled that with trying to act like it was no big deal, and Will Smith trying to just, you know, be the bigger person. Like, that's really tough. I think that's really tough for an individual to deal with. I think that's really tough for two individuals who, you know, are trying to maintain a marriage to be trying to deal with. You know what I mean? And, you know, Chris Rock, let's give him his credit, man. He could have severely aggravated that issue right then and there. You know what I mean? He even acknowledged that he could have said a lot right then. You know what I mean? But he didn't. You know what I mean? He kept it professional. He kept it friendly. He kept it empathetic. That's a nigga who's going through therapy right now. You know what I mean? Because he knows that anything he would have to say, anything he would have said right then, he would have had to tell his therapist he did. And then his therapist would have asked him, why did you do that, Chris? How did that make you feel? What did you gain from that? All the reflective questions to really make this nigga just be like, fuck, I fucked up. That wasn't me acting in my best character. You know what I mean? And with that being said, that's the accountability of a comedian, man. Like, look, as a podcaster, if you ever catch me in public and it's some shit I said that it just made you so mad you gonna smack me in the face, I take accountability for everything I said. You know, it might have made you that mad where it brought you to the illogical decision of smacking me in the face. But if you a nigga and you smack me in the face, I might not be Chris Rock, especially if we not at the Oscars. I'm for sure getting my hits back. And I think that Chris Rock, if this wasn't the Oscars, he would have got his hits back. You know what I mean? If Will Smith addressed him on some, man to man, like, hey, let me talk to you, Chris, type shit, I think Chris Rock would have apologized right then and there. But I think this isn't a nigga being a bitch and being afraid to respond to someone smacking him. I think this is a nigga who's recognizing the space that he's in and not trying to aggravate the issue. Like, he's trying to just proceed with shit. He's not pressing charges. He's keeping it G. Chris Rock is keeping it real gangster right now. Like, he's just keeping it pushing, man. And you gonna speak on it when he ready to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? But, watch what you fucking say, man. Like, you might say some shit. You joke on a nigga wife in front of him. Like, that might cause a nigga to do some irrational shit. Especially when a nigga's under so much pressure to be that perfect nigga for his wife. That might not even been what Jada Pinkett would have wanted Will Smith to do. But he's just been under so much pressure lately, man. And, there's another narrative here that I feel like we need to address. What Will Smith did here, this was not an instance of protecting black women. I've seen a lot of people running with this narrative, and it bothers me every time it gets invoked so recklessly because misogyny war is very real. Misogyny war is very real, and there's a lot that we need to do as a black man. I'm saying this. There's a lot that we need to do as black men to protect our black women. There's a lot that we need to do to advocate for them in the positions where we have voices and platforms. You know what I mean? Fucking Brittany Griner is still locked up in Russia right now for having a weed pen. The only reason she was even in Russia is because the WNBA doesn't play their players enough. They don't pay their players enough to have the fucking accommodations they need to participate in a regular WNBA season. So they have to make their bread overseas and hoop in all these European countries and these Euro leagues. Like they fucking not even major league, like they not the top class of basketball athletes for women. You know what I mean? Just because the league doesn't get as much support as it needs, as it deserves. You know what I'm saying? That's misogyny war. We need to protect black women by addressing that because she's still locked up in Russia and Ukraine. They still at war. This is still going down right now. We can't, just because the whole world heard this smack doesn't mean that the whole world can't pay attention to that either. We need to redirect our energy. You know what I mean? This isn't a matter of, this Will Smith incident was not a matter of protecting black women. This was a matter of a man attempting to defend his wife in his marriage because they've been under so much pressure from the public eye. This is a situation that so many of y'all don't understand, but y'all feel like y'all understand because social media be having y'all thinking that y'all celebrities and y'all not. Y'all not. Them story views, they don't mean shit. They don't mean shit. These celebrities, they still normal people. They're still human beings at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Will Smith is a human being at the end of the day, and this was a human moment. Sometimes humans do ugly shit. You know what I mean? That's love, man. Like, that's love will do that. Love will make you do that sometimes. Like, motherfuckers will do that for the woman they care about the most. They might do some reckless shit. You know what I mean? I get that. I get wanting a partner who's willing to do reckless shit for you, but reckless shit comes with reckless consequences. You know what I mean? Like, and me personally, I wouldn't want a woman who would be willing to just go smack the bitch in public like that. Like, when we're both public figures. Like, we both have an image to maintain. Now, if she checked her after the show, like no cameras, like, hey, now let's talk people. Now this media shit is done. boy. If she wasn't my wife, I'd make a wife out of her that night if she handled it that way. You know what I mean? But hey, I'm just a man speaking how I want my woman to defend me. I'll go to war for my woman. You know what I'm saying? If the situation's right, I can smack this nigga and we straight. I'll do it. But this, like, we both public figures. Like, this is Will and Jada are both pressured to respond now. Like, this is embarrassing. Some of y'all don't have an issue with embarrassing yourselves, but some people do. I'm not here to judge either side. If you have an issue with embarrassing yourself, you don't have an issue with embarrassing yourself. But, you know, the point is, be empathetic here. You know what I mean? Like, be empathetic and be realistic here. Because it's so much shit going on, man. Like, everybody was trying to talk to me, but I didn't even have the energy to talk about this, like, on Monday. I was getting tired about everyone talking about this over my ear. I had work to do. I've been stressed. Everybody's been going through shit lately, man. Like, fucking, it's still cold as hell in Chicago right now. It's cold as a motherfucker. It was just snowing the other day. It's the end of March, nigga. We need the spring, okay? Everybody's going through it, man. Gas is still high as hell. Free Brittany Griner. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? But that's another episode of the Friendly Folks Podcast. You know what to do, man. Subscribe, leave a comment, leave a DM. I'll put a poll up on Spotify. You know what I mean? I'll play around with YouTube too. See if I can put a poll up on there too. Leave a comment, man. Let me know what you thought. Gratitude to y'all for coming out to another episode, subscribing, all the support thus far. And I'll catch you on the next episode, man. Next video, next whatever the fuck I drop. Thank y'all for supporting, man. And welcome to the video era. Peace out.